There's something weirdly different about animated movies from the 2000s. They just had personality, not just the characters, the movies themselves. They felt expressive, chaotic, emotional, weird, and sometimes completely unhinged. In the best way possible. You can instantly recognize the energy of movies like Shrek 2, Madagascar, or The Incredibles because they all had their own identity. Meanwhile, today, a lot of animated movies feel strangely similar. Same humor, same emotional structure, same animation style, same safe storytelling. And while modern animation looks amazing, a lot of it feels less memorable, because somewhere along the way, animated movies stopped feeling messy and personal, and started feeling optimized. 2000s animation felt fearless. Studios were experimenting constantly. Every company had a completely different style. DreamWorks Animation was making loud, sarcastic, pop culture heavy movies. Pixar focused on more emotional storytelling and strong world building. Cartoon Network cartoons were weird and chaotic. Nickelodeon shows felt gross, expressive, and unpredictable. Nothing felt standardized yet. Movies and shows were allowed to have strange humor, ugly expressions, awkward pauses, bizarre side characters, and random jokes that existed purely because they were funny. Animation felt less corporate. It felt like artists were trying to entertain themselves as much as the audience. And that creative freedom gave these movies identity. Even when the animation was perfect, which most of the time it wasn't, the personality carried everything. The 2000s were full of animated movies that honestly should not have worked, but studios made them anyway. Movies like Chicken Little, Over the Hedge, and Robots all had completely different energy. Studios weren't obsessed with building giant cinematic universes yet, so animated movies were allowed to feel random and experimental. Some movies were emotional, some were sarcastic, some were genuinely strange. And because animation studios were competing heavily during that era, everyone was trying to stand out. Now it feels like many animated movies follow the exact same formula. Emotional opening, quirky sidekick, safe humor, dramatic twist, inspirational ending. The structure became predictable, but 2000s animation felt less controlled. Sometimes that meant the movies were messy, but messy movies can still be memorable. 2000s animated movies also had incredible music identity. You hear songs from Shrek 2 or Surf's Up and instantly feel transported back in time. Animated movies used pop punk, rock music, licensed songs, and chaotic montage sequences. Everything felt energetic. The music choice gave movies attitude. Eventually, animation studios realized franchises make enormous money, so instead of making strange standalone movies, studios started focusing on more sequels, spin-offs, and more recognizable brands. Now everything has to become a universe, every character has to become marketable, every movie has to appeal to every age group, every country, and every demographic at once, which means movies become safer. Modern animation films often rely on celebrity songs designed to trend online. But older animated movies felt connected to the culture around them. Even the humor reflected the internet and TV culture of the time. That's part of why they still feel so nostalgic. They weren't trying to feel timeless, they were embracing the era they came from. Because the bigger the budget gets, the less risk studios want to take. That's why modern animated movies often feel extremely polished. And ironically, that made them timeless anyways, but less unique. Older animation felt like actual artists making weird creative decisions. Modern animation sometimes feels like a brand trying to avoid mistakes. Modern animation technology is incredible, but technology alone doesn't create personality. Older animated movies had limitations, and weirdly enough, those limitations forced artists to be more creative. Characters had exaggerated expressions. That's probably why people miss 2000s animated movies so much. Not because every movie was perfect, a lot of them were ridiculous, but they had identity, they had energy, they had style. Even the bloopers at the end of the animated movies had more personality. Movies like Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and A Bug's Life use faked behind-the-scenes bloopers during the credits. Characters would mess up lines, actors would break character. The movies pretended animated characters were real actors on a movie set. It was completely pointless, but it gave the movies charm. It made them feel playful, like the animators genuinely loved making them. And maybe that's the biggest difference. 2000s animated movies felt like people having fun creating something. Modern animation movies often feel like products carefully designed not to fail, and somehow between those two things, a lot of personality got lost. Fun fact, less than 1% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing with notifications on so you don't miss another one. And leave a comment below on what you thought of the video and what I should do next. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.